I abandoned this junk journal and today we're going to revive it. This is what I call my paint sample journal, and that's because it was made using a paint colour chart that you get from a hardware shop. So you can kind of see here that the different colours are showing through, and on the back as well you can see the original base that I used. So I didn't make this journal in the sense of putting together the actual base of it, but I worked on top of it, and it makes this really cool concertina, like accordion fold style journal. And I had so much fun originally when I was putting this together with collaging all of the base pages, and I even added in some signatures here, as you can see, to add some more space to create and to add journal pages to. And I kind of let it fall by the wayside, so I wanted to pick this back up, but I just wasn't feeling inspired to work in it. I was working on other projects, and now I'm feeling like it's the right time to come back to it. So if you want to see how this journal originally started out and how it's got to this point where it's at now, I will leave links down below to the playlist where you can see the different videos of working in this journal. And one thing you'll notice if you have already seen the videos or you go and catch up on those is that this is actually the third attempt that I have made at this cover. Originally I did a black and white take on the cover, thinking that the contrast would be really fun, but I just wasn't gelling with how it was looking with the rest of the journal. So I decided to pivot a little bit and do something a bit more floral, but I wasn't really a fan of that either, and I don't know if that was putting me off from working in the journal. So I just decided, you know what, it's my journal, I can make the rules and let's have another go at the cover. Sort of third time lucky, I suppose. And so I just went for a blank slate. So I just used some of these old like ledger papers almost, and kept it really plain. And I did just add some masking tape at the sides just for a little bit of added strength, especially here at the side, but also as some texture as well. And I think that this might look really nice with a floral cutout image on it, and I was really toying with the idea of this one and potentially having something that carries across from one cover to the other, because this is obviously like a sort of back to front journal. So you would open it this way, have all the pages go this way, and then you turn it around and we have the reverse. And so I was thinking an image like this could look really nice going across this way or maybe this way, and then have it sort of cut here so that you get that continuity between the two covers, but then they will also work as separate covers as well. So I guess a bit more of that sort of visual identity carrying between them. So I think I want to use this image for that. I did pull out a couple of other ones, like this pink one here and also this one here, but I just figured that, I mean, that looks really complicated to cut out to begin with. And I love a good fussy cut, but that will take dedication. And with this one, I think the colours will work better because it will give me more, I guess, direction to move in terms of other colours I want to add onto it, because it's still fairly neutral and I do really like the way that the green pops on this. So I'm just going to fussy cut this out, and then we can see what it will look like on the journal page. And I think that I've definitely been drawn more towards my covers being quite important to how the overall journal feels for me, because I tend to, I guess, gravitate towards certain imagery, and I don't know, it just feels like I want to work in it more when the cover's nice. And I was really not a fan of the cover, and I think every time I was looking at the journal I was thinking, I really need to sort out that cover. And I was thinking of that rather than, oh, I really want to work within the pages of the journal itself. Like, it kind of became, I don't want to say like a problem, but do you know what I mean? Like, I was kind of faced with that barrier every single time I looked at the journal, and so it didn't make me want to work in the journal itself. So I'm kind of hoping that this project will turn into a similar sort of thing to how my altered book turned out, which I have here, because this was also like a 2 to maybe 2.5 year long project where I dipped in and out of it. It wasn't all done in a like short span of time, and it became one of my favorites because I was able to come back to it with new ideas, with different, you know, papers and collages and things like that. And so I'm kind of hoping that this will be the same, because this is definitely one of my all-time favorite journals that I think I've ever done, to be honest. And I think part of that is the process of how I was putting it together. So I'm just going to cut these leaves out, and I won't make you watch the whole process of this. Okay, so I've cut out the image now to go on the covers, and we did have a little bit of an accident with the fussy cutting, but nothing a bit of glue can't fix as we put it back together. And I think, let me work out which way round this is first before I start gluing it on. So we want it to be, this is the main front cover here, and then this is the back. So we want it to work this way as if it's the back cover, and this way as if it's the front. So I think that kind of works, because like they're both facing the same way when I put them like this. So I think, let's see if I can prop this up, because I kind of want to get an idea of where it's going to go first, and then I'll probably, like, I don't know, try and glue it on one side, cut it very gently and sort of line it up. There's not going to be a really elegant way of doing this. So there wouldn't be as much on that side as there is on the front here. I think that's okay, because you will still see some of it, and then I can always play around with some other elements. I just wanted a bit of that continuity. I could always put it this way around a little bit more. So this bit here is going on the letter N. Okay, right. Let's glue that down. Normally I would like take a picture of it so I know where I've put it, but obviously I'm filming, so can you remember where I put it? Super tricky. Oh my goodness. Right. And then, oh, right. So we were around about here. I'm concentrating so much on this. And see, this is the kind of cover that I really love, because this is not something that I ever remotely had in mind when I originally started this project, but in hindsight and having spent some time like working in the journal and stuff like that, like, doesn't this just make sense to have a cover that is like one cover but also splits up to be its own individual cover? Oh, I love that, because look at that, you can just sort of, the way that it works together, I think really helps to bring some cohesion to it all that it was really missing. Like, it was really feeling a little bit lost almost, and I think this just really helps to bring it together. Okay, so where did you fall off? Was it there? Okay, let's pop that back on. Even if it wasn't, like, nobody knows. It's always my thought, like, I don't know, let's just make it look like it was meant to be there. Kind of fits. And then where did this come from? It was kind of over here, wasn't it? See, this kind of feels too busy now. Should we just pretend that it came from like up here somewhere maybe? Why not? It kind of looks a bit busy with all the leaves. We pop it there. And then, yeah, why not? That way then it kind of balances out a little bit with more going on this side. So we can bring this over here, and it goes over the edge of this side. So I will just glue that down and trim off the excess. So there is the cover with the image added on, and I think what I'm going to do is just give it a layer of some gel matte medium just to seal it in and just help it to not peel up from the surface. And there's also, it's probably not picking up on camera, I don't know how well, but there is a slight sheen to it, so I really just want to sort of push that back on this and just help everything blend together. And you know, as I'm doing this, I'm thinking, wouldn't some like gold little like watercolor sparkles potentially look nice on the surface of this? I don't know. Just as I was saying, oh, I really want to make this like matte, I kind of feel like some gold little flecks would look kind of cool on this. I don't know whether I'll actually do that, but just my thought process as I'm adding the gel matte medium, because I definitely think this isn't finished, like it will need something else, but what, I don't know. And I feel like I'm at peace a lot more lately with things taking the time that they will take to create and not feeling rushed to always have a finished product straight away. And you know, if I need to let things sit and come back to them and just really think about what I want to do to it, like that's not a bad thing, because sometimes I do feel a little bit of pressure for like always having something like new and exciting, especially like to show you guys in videos and stuff. But I don't think my creative process really works like that, especially lately. I just want to sit with things a little bit longer and really, I don't know, get lost in the process a little bit more. So I think that's why bringing this journal back, reviving it, and not feeling too ashamed about the fact that it was quote unquote like abandoned, like a failed project. Like I could have easily just gone, oh, okay, I didn't finish that, like there's no point coming back to it. But I really do want to focus on how I can build upon what I already did. And I know that I did like the format. I just want to work a bit more on the different elements, I suppose. So this is bubbling slightly, so I'm probably going to put it under something heavy once it's finished, but honestly it doesn't really bother me too much, to be honest. So that's the cover dry now. So we have the two different sides here of the covers, and I think I'm going to let those sit for a little bit just to see how I feel about them and what I want to add next. But I am potentially thinking some gold accenting and maybe like a little bit of collage or some white detailing, and then like a little word or little label or something. I did pull out from some books when I was grabbing some papers and things to use. They had these little labels here, little frames that could potentially work. So I'll just cut one out just to give you an idea of what I was thinking. This would obviously be, I think, a little bit too like stark white, but I think the shape is potentially something that could work, and that way then I can add a bit of text on the front perhaps. So something like that. I do kind of like bridging the seasons. Ooh. And then, ooh, what if I, now then, how can I cover up this bit? Because I think bridging the seasons could be a really good phrase for this journal. Ooh, maybe I could stain this. I think it definitely needs subduing a little bit. And then maybe I could, I don't know. I almost want it to sort of be poking out from somewhere. So like the fact that this will get covered, I suppose, a bit more organically, if you see what I mean. I'm not gonna be able to pull this up now. I always end up pulling up things that I've stuck down, and because I've put that matte medium on it, it's not going to do that now. But I wonder, no, it's not going to let me do it, and I don't want to ruin it. I definitely really like that wording. Let me know what you do with this to cover up a little bit of wording at the bottom, a little like accent moment. I could just cut it, I suppose. Like I could always, I don't know, bridging the seasons. I really like that. Let's see. Okay, I'll put that to one side because I do really like that. But what I was showing you was that I've cut out a few different things here. So I don't know, we have troubleshooting, which kind of feels a little bit apt for this video actually. Obviously I'm not going to include something that says troubleshooting. But again, this has got the little frame, the little sort of label style that I think is really nice. What I was going to show you before I got distracted by those bits was that I actually pulled out some more papers from like books and things, because I wanted to do a little bit of collaging, but sort of adding larger elements to the inside, just to again go with that thing of making this feel a little bit more fresh. So you'll notice these all had signatures in them when I originally did it, but I ended up taking out the ones at the back just because I wasn't feeling it with the papers, and I think that was part of my attempt to try and revive it. And I thought, oh, maybe the papers aren't right, but now I just have bold sections at the back of the journal. So I need to add some papers. I think that needs like washing down. That's really quite bright for the journal. And then I do need to work on adding some bits to this as well. But I pulled out this green because I really liked the colour and I think it would go well with these. So when I originally did this, I did a lot of like scrappy collage bits, and I don't know, I'm not really a fan of a lot of them, but I don't know whether I want to cover whole pages necessarily. I could do, I suppose, like I could cover maybe the back, like the back section here, and then play around with adding a signature into this with the green paper as a background. I feel like I just want to add some things that are a little bit different, to kind of force me to see what I can come up with. So the wonderful thing about this journal is that I can spread it out and lie it flat like this. Now, because there's obviously bits already glued down, this will get a little bit chunky, but honestly I'm not too fussed. I think it will be fine, especially because it's not like one signature, we've got them all spread out, so it really won't matter too much. And I don't want to really get into ripping papers off and causing more of a mess. Let's just cover up what we've already got. I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. I'll use this edge here as my guide, and then fold this. And I promise I do have larger scissors, by the way, they're just not within arm's reach and I don't want to get up and get them. So I'm just going to use these scissors, it'll be fine. I really love the rounded corners that I did when I originally did this journal, but they are a little bit tricky when I'm adding extra bits to them, that's for sure. Okay, so this looks quite dark actually in comparison to everything else, but I think hopefully once I add the like papers to this, like a little new signature, I think it will be quite interesting just to have a different surface here to play with. And maybe I'll add some more green, like this sort of green throughout, just to bring the colour through a little bit. So like maybe a little bit over here. I don't really like this washi tape, so I'm gonna, will it peel off? Yeah, okay. I don't like that. There we go. My journal, I can rip it off if I want to. I don't know if I like the sticker either, but maybe I'll just cover it up. Okay, there's that piece. And I think I really don't like this black that we've got here, but maybe that just needs paint over it. Tell you what, let's add the flowers on top of here, and then I will just have to do something here to lighten this section up a bit. Or maybe I could add some music sheets. Honestly, having the layers as well, like I feel like it's just quite apt, especially for this being such like a layered project. So I almost want to not completely reject everything that I've already put on there, but at the same time still be able to bring in new stuff and make this feel, like I said, a little bit more fresh and like I want to keep working in it. Okay, I'm going to bring out some of my collage papers, which I'm going to show you more about my journaling pouch in my next video. But let's just see if if there's anything that I want to use from this. Maybe a lighter brown paper. Okay, I think I'm going to add this as a little bit of a pocket situation. So let's just add some glue there. And then glue it to the page. And actually one thing that I've done, I think a little bit of in this journal, but that I really want to do more of is hand stitching as well. And I think maybe it's going to be a little bit tricky, obviously, given how thick the pages are getting, but hopefully I'll still be able to even like stitch onto some of the papers before I add them to the journal. That way then I can still have the stitched details. So I think I'm going to do that, and then maybe some masking tape just for this section here to lighten it up. And I'm just going to overlap it here on the pocket just for an extra bit of stability for that. And obviously once I add back in some of the papers, that will kind of help to keep this from sort of popping up like this, and it will flatten down by just being in the book as well. So I guess there's my bonus pocket that I wasn't even thinking about adding to the page. I think in my next session working in this is like half finished, and I think that's another thing that's kind of putting me off from this journal, is not having a fully finished base to be working on. So I think the next plan of attack will be doing this base, and then also putting in the rest of the signatures, you know, the little bits of paper here. I'm keeping the ones at the front. I think there might be some bits that maybe get covered up or changed. My vision is to have it all sort of looking, you know, a bit more like scrappy looking like this. We're going to do like a, you know, 2.0 version of the ones here at the back. And then I don't know, this journal is very chunky, so I'm not sure whether I also want to do them on the reverse, but also I guess why not, just because how fun to have the signatures on the back as well. But obviously we need to do the base before we get to that. I hope you'll join me for this journey of bringing this journal back to life, and maybe this inspires you to go and grab a journal or other craft project off the shelf that's been maybe gathering dust like mine has been, and join me as we work on this in a really slow, relaxed, you know, no pressure way, and just really enjoy the process of playing with paper and working in our journals. So I hope you enjoyed joining me for this rather chatty journal with me. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.